When it comes to making small changes in the database or pulling information out of the database, it can be a little time consuming to open up your database browser or create the query and put it inside of code in either a module or a piece of content. Also, even if you are comfortable writing queries on the command line, inputting all of the credentials every time you need to run a simple command can be a pain, especially if you have to look it up each time. Using Drush, you can use the credentials that are already set up in the installation, and you can write a query just like you can inside of a module to, for example, add prefixes to every database table. Being able to do a query here and there can also augment some of the other Drush tools. For example, in this video, what we're going to do is change some variables. But let's go ahead and do a couple quick queries just so you can see how it's done. So the command we're using here is drush SQL-query, and we can run this with just a single argument, the query. In this case, what we're doing is selecting the user ID from users, where the name is Chris. And if I hit enter here, we'll get output that includes the column names and the data in each column. In this case, there's just one column, and the UID for Chris is 3. Now, a common use case is the need to change a single configuration item, and it's a bit troublesome to have to go through the UI to do it. So for example, we've turned on CSS pre-processing, which will aggregate all of our CSS files together, which makes it a little difficult to do testing when we're modifying our CSS file because we have to clear the cache every time we make a change. So when we're in development mode, we may want to turn that off. And to do so through the user interface requires going to the configuration, going to the performance page, turning it off, and submitting that form. But we could do this on the command line with a command called variable set. The trick is, though, knowing the name of the variable that you're supposed to change. So what we can do is combine the SQL query command with the variable set command, and we'll be good to go. So first of all, let's try to find out what the variable name is that we want to change. So I'm going to do a drush SQL query, and then I'm just going to do a select all from variable. Now, it could be more specific about the text that I'm going to be looking for inside of the variable table, but we'll just go ahead and keep it simple here, and I'm going to hit enter. Now, before I ran this, it would have probably been good to clear my back scroll so that when we do a search through these items in the command line, it will be easier to find something. So I'm going to do a search here, and I'm going to search for CSS because I'm guessing that the variable name has CSS in it. And sure enough, the first result is pre-processed CSS. Now this looks right. So right now it's set to 1, so we can turn this off by setting it to 0. So let's go ahead and scroll back to the bottom, and we'll do another command here called variable set. So here's the structure. We're doing drush variable-set, the name of the variable, and the value we want to set it to, in this case 0. I'm going to hit enter. Okay, we got a confirmation that pre-processed CSS was set to 0. Now if we go ahead and do a query again to select everything from variable, I just hit up a couple of times in order to pull down this command that we had already done. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And we look at pre-processed CSS again, we'll see that it's now set to 0.